Okay, training number 10. This one I'm calling Fear Vitamins. And if you don't know me, I'm Meredith Holly. I am a lawyer, power dynamics facilitator, and bestselling author. And I help employees stop sexual harassment without quitting their jobs. And so often when employees first come to me, one of the things that they say is that they are not being paid fair pay. This is a big issue that we see as sort of a gateway issue to other harassment and discrimination. And I see a lot of people who feel underpaid, but they are not quite sure how to negotiate a higher pay, and they're afraid to ask. And so we see just the basic fear and imposter syndrome and afraid that their bosses won't like them if they ask for more money. We see a lot of this fear get in the way of people's promotions, of people's raises, and even of people making baseline fair pay. So even though this is sort of a daily practice based on our emotions, I think it has real impact in the money that we make at work, in our ability to advance at work. So I just want you to think about, what is the next big thing you want to do? What is the next career step you want to take? What's the next promotion that you want? And just think about that for a minute. And then, why haven't you gotten it yet? What is the reason that you're not already living in that space? And a lot of times what people tell me when I ask them that is that they're afraid to try. They're afraid to try, and they're afraid to fail. And this is totally normal, right? Like, our brains are designed to identify change as a threat. So status quo, conserving our energy, staying where we are, seems safe. Any change, even positive change, is often like, our brains just see it as you're gonna die, right? And it's not totally wrong, because a lot of times when we get the new promotion, when we go into the new role, it is almost like a version of ourselves dies, and we have to become a new person who lives in this new role. And so it's not totally wrong for our brains to see change as a threat, but the sacrifice that we make of maintaining the status quo is that potential of who we could become, right? So it's not, again, this is like what I talked about in training 9. You don't have the fear drive the car, but then how do you kind of counteract that fear that comes up that is normal? How do you deal with it? The interesting thing that I see happen kind of conversely to this is, a lot of times I see business owners say, once I make $100,000 in my business, I'm gonna feel confident. Once I make $1 million in my business, I'm gonna feel confident. I even get this with clients when we're negotiating severances, or when we're going to trial, or negotiating based in their claims. They think once a case resolves, they're going to feel better. They're going to feel relieved. They're going to feel justice. They're going to feel a particular feeling. And unfortunately, what you actually see is that sometimes, because we're practicing fear and dread ahead of time, we feel even more fear or dread once we get to that goal. So I, thank God, knock on wood, I have not had this happen to me before, but I've talked to other lawyers who have had clients receive really validating settlements from their employers or from another party that hurt them, and seeing clients commit suicide after they receive a settlement, or go into deep depressions after they receive a settlement. And you see this with business owners too. I had the biggest month in my business in December, and I was freaking out. And you see this with a lot of business owners. They make that $100,000 goal in their business, and they feel terrible, right? But the reason is because we practiced feeling terrible along the way, and then we thought a change in our circumstance was going to change our feelings, but we've been practicing the feelings we don't want to feel the whole time. So it would make no sense for the circumstance change to change that, right? We've been practicing believing things that make us feel terrible, that make us feel dread and fear. And so then the circumstance changes and we feel more dread and fear, not less. And so this concept that I want to teach you, I'm calling fear vitamins. So we all have daily practices that we do just automatically, right? Like I brush my teeth at night and then I take vitamins before I go to bed. And so this idea is taking that concept and applying it to how we're treating our feelings. What are our practices related to the fear or the confidence or the joy or whatever feelings we're practicing, right? And so what we are often doing when we're thinking that making the $100,000 is going to make us feel better is it's like we're saying, I want to weigh 120 pounds and I'm going to practice eating McDonald's every day on my way to weighing 120 pounds, and then maybe I'll feel good, right? Or I'm going to practice depriving myself on the way to 120 pounds and feeling anxious and deprived. And then once I weigh 120 pounds, I'm going to feel better. It doesn't work, right? We have to practice what we want to be before we get there. And so what we want to do is we want to develop a vitamin regimen for your brain. So I was working on this with a client today. She's having this recurring thought of I'm in danger. And then she feels fear, and then she's just hyper vigilant, watching everything in her environment and not listening to her intuition, right? Which is actually creating more danger because her intuition is really solid and she knows whether she's actually in danger or not. But she's been practicing believing that she's in danger so much that it's like pervading her environment. And so the reason, her justification for practicing feeling fear and believing she's in danger was that she believes she can't trust one of her coworkers. And so then what she's doing is she's negotiating whether or not she can trust him. She's thinking, well, this guy trusts him, so maybe I should trust him, but I don't trust him. But this other person trusts him. This person thinks I should trust him. This person doesn't understand. And she's completely left her body. She's outside of her body trying to figure out what other people think about the situation, which creates more and more and more hypervigilance and more fear. So what we decided was it was possible for her to believe that this person she doesn't trust is always going to behave inappropriately according to what she expects him to do. But then she can believe I can always trust myself even when he behaves inappropriately. So she thought her only other option than believing I'm in danger was to believe that this person was a safe person and she could trust him, which is, she doesn't believe it, right? So it makes her feel way more in danger. And then if we can shift that to he's going to behave how he wants to, and I can trust myself, she had so much evidence of how good she is at taking care of herself, right? She had taken all of these steps to take care of herself. And so it was like very easy for her to believe that she was going to listen to, if she listened to her instincts, she would know what to do, even if she was in danger. So there are a couple of simple, if you find yourself having like, I can't apply for this promotion, I'm going to fail. My family's going to hate me if I get too big. What else? Like, maybe I'm not good enough to do this. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not creative enough. All of these beliefs that we have that seem very justified, that we try to negotiate, and then we think the only other option is like, now I believe that I'm not smart enough, but the alternative is I'm the smartest person in the world, right? And so if we go for that opposite alternative that we often think is the only other option, it just reinforces the negative thing, the fear that we're already feeling, right? Because it doesn't feel believable. So if my client was arguing with herself and the only other option she had was to believe that her coworker was safe, or she had to believe she's in danger, then she's screwed either way, right? It doesn't work because she doesn't believe he's safe. She thinks that he's a dangerous person and that that she's in danger from him. And she doesn't want to believe he's safe, right? Okay, so here are the phrases I want you to take away that are the fear vitamin phrases. The 3 phrases are, it's possible that, I'm open to seeing, and even when things stay the same, I trust myself to. Okay, I'm going to say them again. It's possible that, and then you fill in the blank there. I'm open to seeing, and then you fill in another blank there. Even when things stay the same, I trust myself to fill in the blank. So, for example, when we're talking about the dangerous coworker, her belief right now is I'm in danger, and that it's possible that would be, it's possible that there's safety somewhere right now, right? So if you're applying for the promotion, you're believing that you're not good enough. So now the belief is I'm not good enough. And it's possible that belief is, it's possible that there's something I am good at. It's not that I'm good at everything. It's not that I am good enough. It's very specific. It's possible there's something that I'm good at. What's a thing that you might be good at? It's the same with I'm open to seeing. So if you're believing that you're not smart enough, I'm open to seeing something that I'm smart about. So I've used this a lot in different phrases for myself. So one phrase that I choose very consistently is, there's an easier way and I'm open to seeing it, because I just always believe that there's an easier way than the way that if I'm struggling, there's always an easier way. It's possible that the feeling that I'm looking for is available right now. It's possible that, I've used this for, it's possible that magic is available right now. That's one of my favorite feelings. It's possible that beauty is available right now. I'm open to seeing, what is it that you're looking for? What is the feeling that you want to feel? What is the life that you want to create? And then how can you say, I'm open to seeing, it's possible that something very specific along the lines of what you do want to create. Even when things stay the same, I trust myself to create beauty in that situation. I trust myself to create, what is it? What are you here to create? What is the thing that you need to bring forth for each moment? What's the thing that you want to find in your external environment, but that you actually have to offer to your external environment, even if it stays the same? So this, one of the reasons that this redirects and is a fear vitamin, and it redirects your brain from fear, is that when we're afraid, usually we're thinking about external, we're being hyper vigilant about our external environment, and we're not trusting ourselves. So when you're noticing yourself being afraid, you want to check in with yourself and your instincts, because fear is actually good news. Fear, when we are being chased by a giant bear, we don't have time to be afraid, we just react. When we're actually in danger, we don't have time to worry and be afraid, we just react. So when we have time to be in fear, it's actually good news that you're safe, like paradoxically. And so how can you bring yourself back to yourself and know what you trust yourself to create in this moment? What's possible for you to see? What are you open to seeing that's an alternative to what you're believing right now? And even when things stay the same, what do you trust yourself to bring to this environment? So I actually write these on a board, and I have them just in my house. I have them hanging on a board of stretch beliefs that I'm open to seeing, that I'm curious about, that are part of the future I want to see and an impact that I want to make. All right, so let me know any questions that you have. If you know somebody who is struggling at work, send them our way. They can email me at meredith@erisresolution.com, meredith@erisresolution.com, or call us at 458-221-2671 if you know somebody who's really struggling, unhappy in a toxic work environment, or experiencing sexual harassment. Just send them over. And if you have any questions about this, post them and let me know how it goes for you.